When it comes to an NBA superstar, for close to 70 years, the measure of that player's greatness was how many points they could rack up, how many boards they could grab, or how many dimes they dished out. The standard for an NBA superstar, from guys like Mike and Russell, all the way to Kobe and Duncan, was about winning championships. And the majority of those players, like a Russell, a Jordan, especially Kobe and Duncan, they sacrificed individual numbers, individual accolades, in pursuit of said championship. I mean, Kobe's entire career post-Shaq was quite literally built on the pursuit of another ring. Could he have averaged 34-35 points for another decade? Of course he could have done that. But Kobe knew deep down the standard wasn't about stats, individual numbers, it was about championships. Now, that gold standard of championships, being the pinnacle of an NBA superstar's goal, that all changed around 2011, as the NBA's next chosen one flamed out in back-to-back finals 07 and 2011 in embarrassing fashion. After those two finals duds, that's when the Kobe and Jordan standard that had been set long before them officially died. As from an NBA marketing perspective, having your golden goose be 0-2 in the finals, you can't prop him up as the next Jordan when the standard is winning championships. And you might ask, what did that standard shift to once LeBron James lost in back-to-back finals? Well, glad you asked. It went from championships being the goal, the pinnacle, to now individual stats being valued above all else. The worst thing about the LeBron James era, the LeBron media that circles around him, is that they think when you put up big stats, gaudy numbers, in losses, that absolves you from all criticism because you, quote, did your job. And those pesky teammates around you, they failed you and the team. Excuses like this just drive me crazy. As you're the leader of an NBA team and a franchise, the burden of your team losing or winning, that rides on you and rests on your shoulders. And from really 2011 to 2024, we've been in the era of excuse making and individual stats. Perfect example of this, the 2022 Lakers, where LeBron James yet again played the GM and failed miserably. Now, what happened with LeBron this year, getting Westbrook, having another super team, and being the favorites to win the Western Conference? Did they accomplish any of that? Of course not. And for the 2022 Lakers, looking at the NBA media at large, were they critiqued for missing the playoffs while having a super team? No, not really. Was there any backlash for LeBron's tweets going at fans before the season? Of course not. And late in the year, was LeBron James once criticized for stat hunting for the scoring title? And the word of this video obviously is standard. And when it comes to LeBron James, his fans, his media circus, if he wins, that standard is applied correctly. Now, if he loses, that standard of winning goes out the window. And that's the problem. The standard doesn't change, win or lose. But with his fans, when he loses, that standard has to go away because LeBron James never is at fault for his team losing. And once again, looking back at past legends, by that gold standard of winning. To prove my point, Kobe in 03 in the West Semis was playing the Spurs. The Lakers lost this series. Now, individually speaking, Kobe averaged 32.3 points per game, the third highest mark in the series up to that point in his career. In the moment, looking back on it now, does anyone care about that? Of course not, because they lost. And Kobe in 03 didn't get the softball media treatment of putting up good stats and losing. Kobe still was at fault for his team losing because at that point, he was LA's best player. I mean, Jordan 89 versus the Pistons, when he averaged 30, did anyone care? Of course not. Still grilled by the media, critiqued by fans because his Bulls team lost. When you're the leader of a team, the standard of winning, it remains there, win or lose. And playing great teams like the Pistons or the Spurs, even if you lose to them, that standard still persists. And I can already hear it now. Well, Jordan has 6, Kobe has 5. Robert Horry has 7 rings, does that mean he's better? Look, this argument, it was used in 2012 maybe? We're so past that nonsense and that BS. Robert Horry, potential Hall of Famer, great role player. But in these debates, talking about the all-time legends, that's the top 1% of NBA players. And for a guy like Horry, not once was the best player on a championship team or the best player in a final series. If you're still using that argument in 2024, I'm just going to assume at this point you're riding the short bus. Now, getting back on topic, when it comes to LeBron James valuing stats over winning, I do find one thing pretty peculiar. Since going to Los Angeles, what's been his main goal and the thing he's chased relentlessly? Of course, passing Kareem in all-time scoring. Another longevity accomplishment, an individual award. Now here's the funny thing. When LeBron passed these players on the all-time scoring list, every single time he'd flame out and lose. When he passed Dirk for 5th place, lost to the Spurs. Passed Jordan for 4th place, lost to Nuggets. Passed Kobe for 3rd place, lost to Philly. Passed Malone for 2nd place, lost to the Wizards. And most recently, when he passed Kareem for 1st, lost to OKC. That is the perfect encapsulation of LeBron's career. Individually, something great happened, but collectively for the team, they lost every single time. In a weird way, LeBron James is almost Wilt Chamberlain 2.0. Great athlete, great longevity, dominant into his mid-30s, but championship-wise, could never live up to the heights of Russell or someone like Jordan or Kobe. And I want to highlight one thing very quickly. In LA's most recent game versus the Nuggets, Kobe's statue was unveiled and he was honored. Did they win the game? Of course not. And now LeBron and Anthony Davis have lost 7 straight games to the Joker. Now it gets worse. LeBron, after the game, after losing on a monumental night, went on Twitter and bragged about this pass. Now, looking at this pass, another bold-faced lie by LeBron James claiming this deflection was an actual assist. This right here is someone's GOAT, who after a loss on Kobe Day, goes on Twitter and brags about his assist and individual accomplishments. If you want to know what LeBron James values more, stats or winning, just look at this post. Now, speaking of winning, some of LeBron's Lakers don't know much about. Adam Silver and the refs, from really 2021 on, have helped this team at every turn. And if you watch any big-time Lakers game, primetime, TNT, ABC, I can virtually guarantee you, on one end the Lakers aren't going to call for any fouls, on the other, any touch foul, minor scratch, any inconvenience will be an automatic 2 free throws for Lakers players. And it's one thing to see this pointed out and get enraged by it, but it's another to look at the cold hard facts. Look at the last 2 NBA seasons. In terms of free throw differential, just differential, LA ranks first by a mile at plus 753. In second place, the Knicks, plus 320, and the Heat, plus 298. If you take the second and third place finishers, combine them together, that differential isn't bigger than LA's total differential. And I would say when this differential really started was in that game in Boston when LeBron James got fouled, threw a tantrum, and cried for a month straight. After that game versus Boston, the refs completely flipped and changed. And looking at the end of 2023, the Lakers plus minus in free throws was plus 328. That is a 32-game sample size in free throw differential. If you compare those 32 games to the last 2 years, the Lakers still rank first, barely ahead of the New York Knicks. And if you think I'm just hating on the Lakers, hating on LeBron, Anthony Davis, here's one last thing. The Lakers in 2024 rank dead last in fouls called against. Okay, maybe a coincidence. 2023, again, dead last, the exact same thing. Is it just happenstance, coincidence, that the best team in the NBA getting free throws is also the best at not getting fouls called on them? Coincidence or something more? You decide. And I kind of got curious about this and went to look at Michael Jordan's Bulls from his championship days. In terms of free throws per game, the Bulls, 91 ranked 22nd, 92 16th, 93 26th, second to last, 96 again 22nd, 97 27th, and 98 24th. You always hear fans complain that Jordan Got a friendly whistle, got easy foul calls, cheap foul calls. You hear it non-stop. And look, every star to some extent gets the benefit of the whistle here and there. But for Jordan's entire team, being ranked in the mid-20s, low 20s for a decade stretch is pretty shocking. Now, going full circle in this video, looking back at the standard of winning, the standard of championships, versus now the stat standard, one more reason this kind of changed in the 2010s is LeBron James, constantly in the middle of his prime, was getting out-hustled and beaten by other players in terms of championships. I mean, for example, Steph Curry got 4 titles in LeBron's era. Kawhi got 2, KD also got 2, Duncan got 2, Giannis got 1, you had Jokic, KG, and of course, Dirk Nowitzki. Tons of Hall of Fame players, different teams, franchises, won championships on LeBron's watch. And yes, when Jordan played teams, players, they also won and got theirs. But in terms of Hall of Famers who got championships versus didn't get championships, in Michael Jordan's era, there's a lot more guys who didn't get them than actually got them. And one last thing I do want to ask you, when looking at the biggest LeBron James fans, the biggest LeBron James supporters, guys like Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, and Colin Cowherd, what is their go-to excuse when LeBron loses? Always his points, assists, and rebounds. Again, going to show you guys that built-in excuse of the stats justifying his team not winning. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.